morning, everyone. Welcome to Cannabis Live. My name is Matthew Rome, and I am the host. I'm alongside Craig Aronoff, who's to my left. This is episode 11. Today we're going to be talking a little bit about the overview of the Michigan medical marijuana market. Once again, Cannabis Live comes to you every Wednesday and Fridays. Please, we welcome questions, engagement. Please like it, love it, share it. Anything that comes to mind while we're talking, please leave a comment, and we will get to your questions.
Yeah, welcome to our 11th episode. It's amazing that it's been this many, Matt. It's been great. We have our upcoming seminar on Friday. We've talked about it over the last several sessions, but we're really excited. We've got a great turnout that we're expecting. June 9th, Friday, Cobo Hall. We're going to be talking everything you need to know to get licensed under a new Medical Facility Licensing Act.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be great. We're going to have some great speakers there, some nationally known speakers. So I think tickets are still available. So if you'd like, come out. I think a few are left. So come out and enjoy the presentation. It's an all-day event, by the way. Just so you guys know, just as a general overview of the Michigan medical marijuana market and what's coming up, we've heard a couple projections. They're estimating the market to be anywhere between like $700 and $1 billion for the medicinal market, which is quite outstanding, especially with these businesses being licensed. It's truly a blue ocean in the market. So, this money is going to have to be generated by some business somewhere. So, if you're thinking of getting in the industry, this is a chance to really get in there early so that you can capture market share and get your products out there.
Yeah, and just yesterday there was some articles in the paper talking about, upwards of $8 million for the state police out of a new fund. That's just one of the examples that we're going to see in terms of how the monies from this fund are going to be spread throughout the state of Michigan through the local communities, the counties, the sheriffs, and the state police. It's important to note, though, that when we talk about 2018, we know that the license begins the application process in December of 17, so presumably we're not going to have anyone licensed until the early part of 18 when their first applications are approved. But it's important to note that the economy that we'll be talking about won't really get started until a little later in the year. And the reason being, of course, is that a dispensary can't sell until it has products that were grown or processed under the new act and brought to its shelves. And so there might be some time until these consumer sales actually occur. And that's why I think the state's projection, at least for 2018, is low, and it's probably simply because they're anticipating only about 1 month of actually operating revenue coming through.
Yeah, and just so you know that if you want to get involved, a lot of these businesses are going to be hiring people as well. So it's a time to, I guess, polish up that resume to the best you can, your cannabis resume. These businesses are going to be looking for qualified staff, as well as in the act. Says that many of these businesses have to have a caregiver with 2 years experience. Now, in order to be part of these businesses, you actually have to give up your caregiver status and you basically switch over and be an employee of one of these companies. But it's a great opportunity if you don't have the capital to get involved in the industry. So like I said, a lot of these businesses are going to be, hiring probably starting pretty soon. Just to make sure that their apps are qualified and the people are vetted. So it's really important to start focusing on that if that's the route that you want to take. Some things you may want to think about are, your criminal history, any crimes of moral turpitude or stuff that could really keep you from not being employed by one of these companies. But it's really important to start thinking of that process and maybe polishing up that resume and making connections as to who's entering the market so you can be gainfully employed as this process begins.
Yeah, and certainly as we talk to entrepreneurs that are looking to seek these licenses, we do talk to them, and we talked in prior episodes, of course, about business planning, and one of those is what your labor costs are going to be. And certainly, as we talk about what's really exciting, and we go to these towns and talk about what's super exciting about the new Facility Licensing Act, is that this economy is all within the state lines of Michigan. You have to, whatever license you have, your supplier will be, for all the marijuana, contents is going to be from Michigan. Your labor force will be in Michigan. Your distribution chain will be in Michigan. Your customers will be in Michigan. And so everything we're talking about is really localized to, where is the facility located? That's where the jobs will be. And of course, the extension of that will be the ripple effect, as if you're a grower, you're going to sell it to processors. They're going to sell it to dispensaries. There'll be new businesses that'll be popping up around those as well, and new, suppliers for lights and other type of, ancillary products will be coming online as well. And so there's a lot of different layers to this onion that we'll see as we talk about it further.
And I also think too, one thing, say that you necessarily don't want to participate in the market directly. Say that you're a builder or an electrician. This is a phenomenal time to get your name out there if you are qualified to build these types of facilities, to do the electrical work, because there's going to be a lot of work, and these are going to be some pretty big jobs. So, if you can provide some type of support service or do something like that, it's important to really start marketing yourself to these entrepreneurs so they know that you exist and, what services you provide. I think that you could do quite well, doing those types of services as well if you don't want to play directly in the market yourself.
No, I think that's actually fantastic advice. We met some people that, weren't sure how deep they wanted to dip their toe into this pool. And the more we talked about them, they had other talents to offer the industry. And you mentioned construction, and that's right there at the top of the list. And certainly the licensees within the construction industry, be it plumbers and electricians, are also going to be, needed, as well as HVAC and, people that are in understanding of the environmentals and the filters and everything that'll be needed for ventilation. And so all of these different parties are going to be brought to the table by the entrepreneurs. They're going to be making spends that could be tens of thousands of dollars into these facilities, especially those that need to be like either built or retrofitted versus those that may already have existing structure that can be used. And so certainly researching, if you're somebody who's an electrician, understanding the best setup of lights allows you to be an added value to that entrepreneur when you can give input as to making that efficient and making it so that you're protecting their grid as well as their dollars and their spend. And so there's lots of things that these electricians possibly can do to upsell themselves and become more valuable to the market.
And I think it's really important to start now, because even though licenses haven't been granted, a lot of people are starting to buy buildings, starting to do the construction work already on their buildings. And obviously, they're not growing in the building yet, most likely, or they're growing under a caregiver model. But it's important to basically, make these contacts, because like I said, people are already acquiring the real estate, already starting to, get their building plans, their architects in place. It's important to be on that forefront if that's the angle that you want to take.
Yeah, we have a question from New Millennium Printing and asking just the startup cost for licenses. We know the statute has one cost built into it that says a municipality, a township, village, or city can charge up to $5,000 for its application fee.
Yeah, and I think we'll know more about that when the state hands down its rules and regulations, like we mentioned in our last episode. I believe they had picked the board, so that's really exciting. So hopefully, in the coming time period, we'll have some more rules and regulations that'll fine tune those details. So we're kind of waiting eagerly for that information.
Yeah, and that's going to include, of course, what the state's cost is going to be. Right now, we don't know. We have some presumptions, which is nothing more than guessing. If it's $5,000 for a city, presumably the state's cost would be minimum that, but it easily could be double that. We really don't know yet, and so that's going to be the extra cost that goes into it. But remember, as we talked about your planning for this license, the capitalization is going to be very important. So we're going to build into the business plans the cost of doing business, which is going to include, of course, the application fees as well as ongoing renewal fees. But remember, each of these enterprises is going to be able to have to establish that it can carry itself. It's going to have deep enough pockets. And quite frankly, if the $10,000 kind of state license fee is something that scares the entrepreneur, their business is probably going to be in jeopardy. Like that's going to have to be a necessary cost that you're just going to have to deal with.
And I'd say, too, just as an example for the grows, I mean, a lot of these people are allocating, several $1 million for their projects.
Right.
So that's the type of realm that we're seeing that people are playing into that or want to participate in the market. For quality building, land, licenses, equipment, labor, qualified workforce for you. I mean, it truly is not going to be a small undertaking, as well as the period of, when you're not going to be receiving revenue when you're just starting out. So you really need to have that buffer in there and that carrying cost to make sure you can make payroll, keep the lights on, make sure whatever dues or expenses come up that, that you have the gas to keep the car going.
Yeah, absolutely. You were mentioning jobs earlier, and we kind of talked about, different segments and, and investment that's going to be made in different areas where there's going to be opportunities. But, direct access to employees, the labor force, in these towns, it's been very important to a lot of the councils and boards we've talked to that, we're offering jobs to their community. And when we look at it, and just looking at some studies that were done by the Strata Business Services and looking at facilities in other states, a Class A 500 plant facility is going to have upwards of 17 full-time jobs. You double that for going into a Class B, maybe it's upwards of 31 full-time jobs. And they're predicting a 1,500 plant might be as high as 45. And this assumes that you're going to have maybe as many as 30 line workers averaging $15 an hour, all the way up to management and executives in the $30 to $50 an hour range. So there's going to be lots of layers of positions within each of these companies. And, oddly enough, the other area that wasn't even included in that was marketing and sales, which could be, other types of ways to, for people to make money driving around, getting your grow product to various dispensaries or processors. So there's going to be some great opportunities locally wherever these facilities are located.
And I think that's a big thing that we often see is people kind of sell themselves short on how much labor they actually do need. They'll say, well, my friend and I, we can do this. And it's very hard for two people to run 500, 1,000, 1,500 plants. So it's really important to keep that in mind, exactly who you're going to employ, who's going to be helping you, how efficient they are, do they know what they're doing, are they trained well? These are all things that are going to be very, very important to making sure that your business is a success.
And, of course, compliant with the state regulations. We already know that there's going to be some look back on criminal and financial histories of employees to make sure that you're not dealing with people that have some kind of checkered past, and or the need to maybe worry about, scams and other things. So the state is, through its rules, going to offer a new vetting process for these employees. So there will be some assistance to entrepreneurs, at least as to guidance as to who they really could rely upon to be in their inner fold when they move forward and who might not be able to make it onto that cart. But, that's again going to come down later. But as we talk about it now, if you're a testing lab, you can have an annual spend on your labor of over $500,000 just to operate. So you best be understanding that before you get started, that that's just one element of your cost.
Yeah, and that's really, really, really important to really have a handle on budget. And we're going to talk about all this at the seminar this week, so please come out. Like I said, I think a couple tickets are left. So if you want to come out, buy a ticket. We'll definitely cover all these topics. And then if you have any questions, you can personally ask us, and we can give you our opinion.
Yeah, CannabisLegalGroup.com. You can find your ticket ways to register there. We look forward to seeing you. We'll be live at the event on Friday. So from Cannabis Craig and
Marijuana Matt.
Look forward to seeing you soon. Thank you.
You guys enjoy the day.